Okay, let's start today's class. Last class we have seen how to draw the PCB layout for a component. For example, in last class we have seen how to draw the PCB layout for an IC Atmega 328P. Today we will see the design rule checking in PCB designing. So this design rule check is done after component placement and routing is done. After completing the routing between different components only, we have to go for design rule check. In many software tools, we'll be having an option for design rule check. We will see how that design rule check is performed. Go to slide number 3. So there are certain check parameters. We will see one by one. First parameter is a spacing. So in the design guidelines itself, we have seen different spacing. That is a trace with trace spacing. There is a space between different traces. Then pad space. Like that, we can go for spacing consideration. Then minimization of number of plated through holes. That is the through holes should be minimized as possible. Otherwise, if you are having more number of plated through holes, it may lead to short circuit in some design. Then we will considering some special design rules. We will see that. Then the current carrying capacity of the conductor. There is a current carrying capacity of the conductor means here the conductor is a copper layer which is coated on the PCB, then open or disconnected point. So we will see all these with some example. Go to slide number 4. So I hope you all remember what is plated through holes. In slide number 4, you can see a piece of PCB having some holes. That is only plated through holes. So while designing a PCB, we have to keep in mind that the plated through holes can be minimum as possible. Okay, so minimum number of hole will be efficient for a PCB design. And then go to slide number 5. Here there is some special design rule check. See in the figure provided here. This figure, the design rule check is done using a software tool. If you are clicking that design rule check option, that automatically if there is any violation in the design rule, it will appear. See in the right side, it is indicated by red color arrow line. There are some track errors. Like that, there will be some special design rule check will be given. Special design rule check means there is the ground pin should be placed in a separate plane, and that decoupling capacitors should be placed near the power pin of the device. Like that, we have seen the some special consideration for the design. So all those consideration will also be checked by the software. Then go to slide number 6. Current carrying capacity of the conductor. That is the current carrying capacity of the copper surface. Conductor means here in the PCB board, the copper surface coated on the PCB is the conductor. So here in the chart provided in the slide number 6, the copper weight is provided. There is the weight of the copper, the PCB will be normally given in O's per square feet. And then the thickness, that is given in inch. And we can see the track width, varying track width possible using the given copper weight and given thickness. So based upon this and using IPC standard, I hope you all remember the IPC standard which we have seen in the previous class. This IPC standard is a common standard followed by all PCB fabrication house for manufacturing the PCB board. Okay. So based upon the IPC standard, here in the bottom of the table, the current calculation is given. That is, I hope you all can see it. I is equal to 0.48 into dt power of 4.4 into W into TH power of 0.725. Here this dt means is a temperature rise. The I is current which is given in ampere, and then W is the width of the track, and TH is the track thickness. The track thickness and the width of the track all given in mils, and the W the and the temperature rise is mentioned in Celsius. So all those details is given below in the table. You can go through it. So likewise, we can calculate the current carrying capacity of the conductor. Why we have to do this means, for example, a device will allow this much amount of current to pass through it. That PCB should withstand that current flowing capability. If it doesn't withstand means there's a chance that the PCB can burn or damage, like that there's a chance. So we have to consider this current carrying capacity of the copper coated on the PCB surface also. Next, go to slide number 7. Next you will see the check parameter. There is opened or disconnected pins. To see the PCB board means the PCB board, all the component will be either surface mounted or planted by means of through hole technology. So we will be having some pins connected, that it can be of IC pins or component pins. We have to check whether those pins are opened or disconnected. Open means there is no connection between the pin and the PCB board. It's a pin of the component and the PCB board. So what are the chances to have this open or disconnected pin means? That is given in the figure provided in slide number 7. So the first case is there may be some cold joint. So cold joint and insufficient wetting. So what do you mean by cold joint means? It is a joint in which the solder didn't melt properly. Okay. So in the PCB board will be soldering. That is, we are providing this soldering by means of some solder paste. Okay. This will be done usually by automatic machines. If that solder is not coated properly means it will be melt. During course of time there may be cracks in the PCB, and this may lead to disconnected point or some opened connection. Okay, so this cold joints will also lead in opened or disconnected pins. Okay, this cold joint is nothing but a solder which did not melt properly. We are applying the solder and then we'll be placing the components. If the solder is not melt properly means we can't place the component at the correct position. This leads to cold joint. Okay. Next, what is insufficient wetting means? Here we are seeing the insufficient wetting of the pad. This is used for placing some surface mount component or some through hole component. Okay. So here the solder has wetted the lead, but it has formed some good bond with the pad. So here wetting will be done and some bond will be created, but due to the dirt in the circuit board or due to some failure in the heat which is applied to the circuit board while placing the component, it may lead to insufficient wetting pad. Okay, so insufficient wetting of pad means the solder has wetted the lead but it hasn't formed good bond with the pad. Okay, that is insufficient wetting of the pad. And then in some case you can see too much solder. Too much solder means that place is coated with enormous amount of solder. So it will create a blob of solder. Okay, this blob of solder with neither pin nor pad. If you're having a blob like this shown in the figure, it won't with the pin or the pad, so there won't be any reliable electrical connection. So these cold joint or some insufficient wetting of the pad or too much solder may lead to opened or disconnected pins, and it also leads to positional errors. Okay, how this indirectly leads to position errors means the pins are not properly connected means that component will be placed somewhere else in the PCB board, so it leads to positional errors. Okay, so these are the check parameters which have to be considered while designing the PCB. So this design rule check will normally performed after placement of the component and routing process. Okay, next go to slide number 8. So we are having some parameters also for verification and design rule check. We'll see in detail. It is a component sizes. The component sizes means we have to consider the size of the component before creating the through hole holes or surface mount pads on the PCB. So the component sizes should be taken into account while designing the PCB board. Then hole sizes, that hole size should be as per matching with the signal connection or the components which have to be inserted in the PCB. See in the figure provided in slide number 8, you can see here a resistor is inserted into the through hole in the PCB. So that through hole should be in a specified diameter so that the resistor can be placed smoothly inside the hole. Okay. Then conductor width and clearance. So we have to specify the width of the conductor also properly by referring into the data sheet. Then clearance. So what do you mean by clearance means? It is a shortest distance through air between the conductors. Okay. If you are having two conductors in a PCB mode means the shortest distance between them, that is in air, not in the PCB board. Okay. That is clearance. We have to consider this also while verification, by verifying the PCB design. Then LAN to hole ratio, we will see it. Then board areas to be free of components. So if you are designing a PCB board means in some ultimate cases the PCB board will be overpopulated. In some cases we can leave some specific areas for free components to be placed in. Then clearance to edges. Clearance to edges means there is the PCB board edges should be left free for placing that PCB in some electronic equipments. Okay. Then positional accuracy. That is we have already seen as per the schematic diagram only the components will be placed and routed. If that position varies slightly also, there will be some disadvantage in our design. So we have to be careful in positional accuracy also. Then electrical interconnections. So there should be proper electrical connection between several components placed on the PCB board. There is the copper coating which provides the electrical connection. Okay. This design rule check or design rule verification is normally of three types. We will see one by one in detail. The first type is general verification. This general verification is nothing but checking your PCB board such that it meets the basic requirement. Okay. Basic requirement means that we have to analyze the board such that the signal flow is smooth or not, and how the layers are manufactured as per the customer's requirement, as per the customer's cost requirement, as per the customer's specified width and spacing, like that. The width and spacing, then pad and hole sizes will be checked in general verification process. Okay. So move on to the slide number 11. So in slide number 11, there are some set of questions. So if you are performing general verification, then we'll be surely answering these questions. You will see it. So first thing, we'll be checking the whole circuit. That is, we'll be analyzing the circuit and divided into basic areas for smooth signal flow. So the whole circuit will be analyzed by dividing the PCB board. If it is a large board, means it will be divided and we'll be checking whether there is smooth signal flow or not. Okay. Then we'll see has the basic grid pattern being fully utilized. So we are having a grid pattern. Grid pattern means you see in the software tool. I hope you all have designed in the software till now. So there is some lines. It is vertical and horizontal lines. So that represents the grid pattern. This grid pattern is also available in PCB. You'll see in further slide. Okay. So whether that grid pattern is properly used or not, we have to see it in general verification, and then we'll see whether the chosen number of layers is as per the customer's requirement. That is meeting the low cost manufacturing cost. Likewise, we'll be checking in general verification, and then the preferred conductor widths and spacing between the conductors or tracing will be checked here. Then the pad and hole sizes, whether it is preferred size or not. Then the jumpers which are used will be checked. We'll see what is jumper. Okay. And then we'll be checking the large areas of copper, uh, whether the large areas of copper is prevented from blistering. Blistering means it will happen when overheating happens, because during PCB manufacturing, this PCB board will be subjected to different temperatures. This PCB board will be subjected to different temperatures. So we have to prevent that blistering of the PCB board. Go to next slide. There is in the next slide we can see jumpers. See the figure in the left top is the normally used jumpers. I hope you all might have seen these jumpers in some PCB board. And that covering like structure is a jumper. And in the figure provided in top right image, the top right image, the red color represents the jumper, and the bottom, if you see the right color, there is some metal particle. See, if you can see some metal pieces. That metal pieces are also jumper. These are used in case of high frequency circuits. We will be preferring this metal jumpers. Okay. Next, the bottom left image shows the grid pattern. So this is the grid pattern. Okay. So these are the grid pattern. So all these jumpers, grid pattern will be monitored while doing general verification in PCB board. Next, we will see the second type of design rule check, that is physical verification. So this physical verification will check whether the components are placed properly and whether there is any other violation in the connections. All those will be checked in physical verification. There is a current flowing through the circuit is proper or not. As per the signal flow, the components are placed in the PCB board or not. All those things will be checked in physical verification. And go to slide number 13. In slide number 13, you can see some set of questions. Physical verification provides answers for these questions. First one is, are the terminals and the control locations are compatible with the total assembly? That is the terminals means it is a pin provided for connecting some components, some control locations are proper in the assembly or not. Because some terminals should be provided in the edges so that the components can be placed properly. I hope you all remember the motherboard example which Sarah shown in the first day class. And that there is some connector provisions which is placed on the edge of the PCB board so that it will be proper for connecting some plug or connecting some USB device at the edge of the board. Likewise, the assembling of the board should be done. Then we have to see whether a particular part of the board is placed in accordance with the other parts so that there will be a proper connection between all the parts in the PCB board. And then we have to check whether the board will meet the shock and vibration requirement. That is, in some cases, the PCB board may be subjected to some shock or some vibration. If something extremely bad happens like that, some high voltage in the circuit comes means some electrical components in your house itself, some electrical products in a house itself will be having some shock or some vibration in those equipment which you're having in the house. So in all those electronic products which you're having in your house has some inner PCB layouts. Okay. So these inner PCB layouts should be manufactured in such a way so that it can withstand that shock or some vibrations. Okay. Then we have to check whether the board is as per the specified standard. So for PCB, we are having by default IPC standard. This IPC 222 standard or IPC 2204 standard. Like that, we are having different standard for PCB manufacturing. So we have to check whether the board is manufactured as per the standard or not in physical verification. And next, we will see whether some unstable or some heavy parts in the board are placed in a proper location and it is adequately maintained or not. Likewise, we have to check. So these all verification comes in physical verification. Okay, next we will see the third type of verification, that is electrical verification. So this electrical verification is normally done by service engineer. That is to check whether the signal path is flowing in a proper direction while troubleshooting. So what do you mean by troubleshooting? Troubleshooting means we will be checking the electrical components or the product whether it is functioning properly or not. So in some repair cases, we'll be troubleshooting the electrical products. Okay. So in the PCB board also, we have to troubleshoot the board if there is some repair in it. This is done by service engineer. This comes under electrical verification. So why we have to do this means, normally the assignment of signal path will flow in a priority system. Okay. So the assignment of signal path will normally flows in a priority system. That is, it will start from the highest priority system. That is, in a PCB board, will be having several components. So there will be priority in flowing the signal to the path, such as the low level signal will flow from a particular path, and then it will flow to the path which has a tolerance greater than the other component. Likewise, the signal will flow. So for example, if you see means this ground signal will be placed at the outer extremity of the PCB because it allows for easy connection of internal ground buses or to main buses. So only we'll be preferring the ground signal in the outer extremity. Okay, that is outer border of the PCB board. So there is some consideration in terms of ground and power signals. So these ground and power signals are generally placed between the rows of the ICs of the component which is placed on the board because this will allow for all cross traces to be on wiring side of the board where they are clearly visible after assembly. So only the ground and power signals are placed between the rows of the ICs which is placed on the board. Okay. So all these consideration will be checked in electrical verification. Okay, here this allows the service engineer to check the signal path during troubleshooting. Okay. So go to slide number 15. So in slide number 15, there are certain questions. So this electrical verification concentrates these questions. So first thing to see, um, have a conductor resistance, capacitance and inductor effects being analyzed. So if you are placing a conductor, means this resistance of the conductor will be analyzed because we'll be having some specification that the device you're going to build using the particular PCB board will have this current requirement, will have this voltage specification. Likewise, based upon that requirement, our conductor, some capacitor or some inductors have to be chosen. Then or the conductor and the hardware spacing and shape compatible with the insulation requirement. So in the PCB board, the conductor will be placed and some hardware components will be placed. And then we have to check whether the spacing between the conductor and the components are correct or not. Conductor means the copper coating, okay, or placed in a proper way or not. And then we'll be checking the shape of that. The shape of the component is in proper with the isolation provided. So insulation provided. Insulation. Why we are providing this insulation means to some electrical components, we need some insulation to protect that component and from remaining component in the breadboard. Okay, so some insulation will be provided. That is some plastic covering of some components or some plastic covering of a particular portion of the breadboard will be available. And then have controlled impedance for frequencies above 100 megahertz or 300 megahertz analog signal is provided or not. Because in some digital circuits or some high frequency circuit, we have to be careful in providing the impedance. Okay, that's only we have to check in electrical verification. Then we have to see the polarities are properly identified. The polarities are seen in the opposite direction means it will damage the entire PCB. I hope you all might have observed this polarity difference in your circuits lab in your third semester and fourth semester. So if the polarities change means it leads to a great problem for your circuit. And then finally, the dielectric changes related to the coating. The surface coating have to be evaluated. See, here we'll be having some surface finish coating. So, each surface finish will have some dielectric properties. We have to consider that dielectric properties also while designing the PCB board. So these verification will normally be done in PCB fabrication. And next, go to slide number 16. So here we will see design rule violation checker. That is if there is any violation. So these are the careful violation considered. So that is conductor to conductor spacing should be considered. So these violations are provided the example images in the subsequent slides. So we will go to slide number 17. So conductor to conductor spacing means the space conductor means first of all this is a copper layer coated on the PCB board. Okay. See in the image provided in slide number 17. You can see that green color coating, that is dark green color coating represents that conductor. So that conductor to conductor spacing, you can observe that. Okay, so we have to check that whether the conductors, that is a copper surface coated on the board, is not very close to each other or not. Okay, it should be as per the desired guidelines which have seen in the previous class. Next, go to slide number 18. We should also consider the conductor to land spacing. So conductor to land. So the term land means it is similar to the footprint. So footprint means if we consider the footprint means it comes with pad stack, obstacles and text. So likewise this land will be associated with some pads. Okay, there is a conductor to, there is a copper coating to the pad, surface mount pad coating on the PCB board. We have to consider it. Next, go to slide number 19. So here you can observe via hole to via hole spacing. That is, see here in the image itself, it is clearly shown. See that round circle which is given in red color, that hole. The spacing is marked in that image itself. So this via hole to via hole spacing should be considered while designing the PCB board. That is, it should be within the design guidelines. Okay. Then go to slide number 20. So in slide number 20, see this orange marking on the board is nothing but your copper coating. That is a copper coating. So mechanical clearance means there is the copper clearance between the edge of the board and the copper coating on the surface of the board. Okay, that mechanical clearance also should be considered, because if the copper coating goes to the edge of the board means due to some damage in the PCB board or due to some misalignment, that copper coating will go below the PCB board also. So it may lead to some problem in electrical connection. So there should be some proper spacing between the edge of the board and the copper coating on the PCB also. Okay. Next, go to slide number 21. Say in slide number 21, you will see some example design rule violation. See in the first figure, which is available on the top left side. See in that figure, you are having two ICs. So in between the two IC, there is a thin line which is drawn connecting the pins of the IC. See, some traces are somewhat thick. See that thin wire. So that line showing some unwired net. That is unwired connection. So we have to check in the design whether some net means there is a connection between two different parts of the board. If there is some unwired net means there is no connection between a part in the board which is required. Okay. So here that thin line represents a connection which is required, but it is not in the board. So these design violation design rule violation will be observed. And next, go to the second figure. This is available in the top right side. So this figure shows an exam. See the pad size that is marked in the IC is different from the preferred size. So this marked pad size also will result in some error. If the pad size is also other than the preferred size, it will be indicated in design rule checking also. Next, we will see the image in the bottom row, which is left side, that is marked trace size error. See, in that image, you can see that trace size. See, the trace size is very close to the pins. So, it may lead to some short circuit connection. So, this trace size is an error which will be observed in design rule violation. Okay. Next, go to the image provided in the okay, there's sorry for the inconvenience. I didn't see that the audio has been muted. Sorry for the inconvenience. So in slide number 21, we have seen some examples for design rule violation. So first we saw the line shows the unwired net. Next we saw uh, pad size which is not in the preferred size. And next we saw that the trace size is somewhat wide than the preferred size. And then last we saw the spacing between the trace and the pad. Okay. And next go to the slide number 22. See in slide number 22, there are some general guidelines for avoiding the design errors. That is, the first one is the closed board outline. So in PCB designing, we need to have a closed board outline That is, while converting your schematic diagram into PCB layout, you'll be having a PCB outline. So in that PCB outline, you'll be placing all the components. So that board outline should be closed shape, and there should be only one PCB outline for a particular PCB design, and there shouldn't be a split board outlines. Okay, there should be only one closed board outline. And the next, if you see, means there should be enough clearance between the connected pads and the board outline. That is, there should be enough spacing between the connected pad and the board outline, as well as the copper conductor coating on the PCB board. And next, the pad, that's the component pad, this outside the PCB board outline will be rejected. Even the component pads which is outside the PCB board will be rejected. Even if it is connected also, that component outside the PCB board will be rejected. Okay. Then we shouldn't subdivide the plain layers with the copper. Okay. This copper coating is only for conductor tracing. That is, it's a electrical conductive path laid on the PCB board. We shouldn't use this copper for subdividing our PCB board. Okay. That is, until routing stages, this copper shouldn't be subdivided. These are the general guidelines. And next, go to slide number 23. So we need some identification checks. This is why we need some identification checks means. So in PCB fabrication house and all, they will be manufacturing PCBs in bulk manner. There is a more number of PCBs will be manufactured. So these PCBs will have some identification marks. Okay. So we'll see that identification checks. So first thing, PCB number. So while designing a PCB, all those PCB should have a particular unique number, that is PCB number. Then assembly title and number. So once we will be manufacturing the PCB board, and after manufacturing, we'll be giving for assembling of components in the board, that is in real world example. So in that assemble also a particular title and number will be provided, and then we'll be having revision information and number. See in the image provided in the slide number 23. See the image provided at the bottom. See here itself we are having the title of the PCB and the project. It is an example taken from your software tool. And in the right side you can see that revision number. This B1.1. Likewise, we can have some revision number and some serial number as the first board or second board. Likewise, we will having some serial number also. So an example for PCB number is provided in slide number 24. So everyone go to slide number 24. See here we are having a PCB board. See the PCB number is marked in red color at the bottom right side of the PCB board. Likewise, we'll be having a PCB number associated with all the board. Okay. So now we have seen how design rule checking will be done. Next we will see how we are going to perform this design rule check in software tool. So go to slide number 25. I hope you all remember this design in the previous class itself. It is the LED flash using using any 555 timer IC. That is flashing LED on and off using timer any 555 IC. So here the PCB layout of that LED flashing is provided in slide number 25. So suppose if this PCB layout is subjected to design rule check means we have to click the design rule check option available in the PCB design tool. Here we have considered the clipping from Eagle PCB software designing tool. Okay, so go to slide number 26. In slide number 26, you can see the dialog box showing the design rule check. Here, there is an option at the bottom of the dialog box, that is check option. So while clicking the check option, we'll be checking the PCB layout whether there is any error or not. There is any design violation or not. If it is any error, then it will appear. An example of the error is shown in the slide number 27. So go to slide number 27. So in slide number 27, you can see the DRC error dialog box. So likewise, and dialog box will open showing the errors in your PCB layout. Here, there is two overlapping trace errors. Overlapping trace means that is one trace is overlapped within the another trace. It is a overlapping trace error. That is while drawing the trace on the PCB board, it is used for connecting to components. Okay, that is a trace. While drawing the trace, one trace has been overlapped with the other trace. So if you click that overlap option means, if you double click means, this will point to the location where this overlap error is. Go to slide number 28. So in slide number 28, see there's an image provided. If we double click that overlap option means in the PCB layout, see in the background you can see the PCB layout where there's an error indicated by a white square marking. See the PCB trace line. There is a red line just drawn on the PCB board is overlapped with another PCB trace line. So it has been indicated. So now you can delete that trace line and you can redraw the trace so that you can avoid the overlapping of traces. Likewise, in software tool, you can find the error in the PCB layout also. Okay, till now we have seen what is a design rule violation and how we are performing the verification and how it will be done in software tool. Next we will see a small topic, just rack lines. So go to slide number 29. So when this rack line occurs means when one layout of the track in the PCB between the pad and the pad as they all have the same net name. Okay, if the one layout in the PCB track has the same net name means that connection name means this rack line will be automatically formed on the PCB board. See, there is an example shown in the figure provided in slide number 29. See that yellow color marking represent the generation of rack lines. See, there is a one line, one net line. Net line means there is a connection provided between different components. See, one net line intersects another net line. And this leads to rack line generation. Okay, so you can we will see with a simple circuit. This is provided in the slide number 30. So everyone go to slide number 30. In slide number 30, you can see the left image showing the circuit with rack lines. See what is a rack line means? If we closely observe the figure, we can see the violet color line. You can see that violet color line. That violet color line is intersected. Okay, and if you are having intersected net lines means it leads to generation of rack lines. See in the image provided in the right side of the slide number 30, there is no interconnection between the net lines. So there is no rack lines. we have the intersection between the net lines. Net line is nothing but the line connecting different parts of the components in the PCB board. If any net line is interconnected means it will leads to rat line generation. Okay. So we have to avoid this rat line in our design. Okay, that's all today's class. We will have a small recap about today's class. So in today's class, we have seen design rule checking. So normally this design rule check is performed after placement of the parts and routing between the components. We are having some checking parameters, that is a spacing and the number of plated holes, then some special design rules and the current carrying capacity of the conductor and opened or disconnected pins and some positional errors. All this will be taken into consideration while checking the design. And then we have seen three types of design rule check. The first type is general verification. Second type is physical verification. And the third one is electrical verification. In general verification, there is a basic requirement check. We'll be checking whether the circuit is analyzed or the conductor width and the spacing, that is a pad and the hole size is properly done as per the preferred size or not. These all will be done in general verification. Next, in physical verification, we'll be checking whether the components are placed correctly and some other violations in connections is done or not. Likewise, we'll be checking in physical verification, and in electrical verification, this is done for troubleshooting the signal path. That is, the signal path should be properly given considering the higher priority and lower priority components in the PCB board. For that, we'll be analyzing the resistance, capacitance and inductance or some impedance values of the components in the PCB board. And next, we have seen some design rule violation example. Then we saw the general guidelines. There is a general guideline means the PCB board design should be a closed one and the enough clearance should be provided. Then the components outside the board will be rejected, so it should be placed within the board outline, and there shouldn't be any subdivision of the plane layer using copper coating and all. So all these will be checked, and then we are having some identification checks also for identifying the PCB board by means of PCB number, assembly title and number, then revision information and number, and then serial number likewise. And then we saw how this design rule check is done in software tool, and by clicking that error available in the DRC error dialog box, you can find the location of the error in a PCB layout. And then last, we have seen what do you mean by rat lines and how we can clear the rat line in the connection. That is, rat line is nothing but it will be generated when the net lines are interconnected. Net lines means the lines connecting the nets. There is a line provided for connecting two components. So this intersection of the net lines will generate rat lines. These rat lines should be avoided. So all these we saw in the today's class. So if anyone have any doubt regarding any topic, can ask me.